If you want to be able to be more positive, more optimistic, and overall just more happy with your life, but you're not sure how to do that with so much negativity in the world, or maybe you have a lot going on in your life right now, or maybe you were just taught to see life for what it truly is, to evaluate the pros and the cons, and to be real with yourself. And that's okay, because you can still do that. You can still think positively and evaluate the world for how it truly is. Being positive doesn't mean that you completely ignore reality. In this video, we're going to talk about what positive thinking really is, what it isn't, and how you can apply it in your life. So stick around. So, in order to understand positive thinking, let's start with what positive thinking isn't. Thinking positively isn't telling yourself something that's not true. It's not refusing to see the bad in life. It's not refusing to face a circumstance because it doesn't make you happy or it's not positive. It's none of that stuff. All positive thinking is choosing to see the glass as half full instead of half empty. And I also want to start out by saying that positive thinking has been proven to be so beneficial. Psychologists and scientists have been studying it for a while now, and they're finally starting to truly understand all the benefits that we receive from it. Not just how we live our lives and how things turn out for us, but mentally and physically, positive thinking and optimism change your life for the better in so many ways. And so I just want to say that a lot of people link positive thinking to the law of attraction and things like that, and it is strongly linked to that. And I personally believe that we do create our life with our thoughts and our attitude and our emotions. But if you don't believe that, that's okay. But I'm sure that you can at least acknowledge that positive thinking and optimism can help you. It can help you to be happier and help you to live a better life. And so, how can you do that? How can you start thinking more positively if you've been a pessimist for a lot of your life, or if you just have a lot of bad things going on right now, or you are trained to just see life for how it truly is? Well, you really have to start small. And you have to realize that it's a process, that you've trained your brain for so long now to think negative or to just see things for how they truly are. It's going to take a little while for you to retrain your brain to think more positively and to see the positive things in life. Our brain, it perceives 400 billion bits of information every second, but it only processes about 2,000 of those. And so your brain is looking for the things that you're used to, or the things that you're thinking about. Out of those 4 billion bits of information, it's going to pull out the things that you're looking for, the things that you're used to, that you have a habit of thinking about. And so you have to think about that, It really makes a difference when you start thinking positively and start looking for those things. Your brain is going to start perceiving and start bringing different things to your attention than it did before. And so, like I said, positive thinking isn't trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. I listened to a Tony Robbins video the other day, and Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker and a life coach, and he's one of my favorites, but I almost turned the video off when he said that he didn't believe in positive thinking and affirmations. And I didn't, and I'm glad, because I understood his perception of it, that he feels like positive thinking is going out into your garden and saying there are no weeds, there are no weeds. Well, the weeds are going to take over your garden, and that's exactly true. I completely agree with that part of it. But that's not what positive thinking is. I think that people confuse positive thinking with delusional thinking. You don't have to tell yourself something that isn't true. If you're struggling financially, you don't have to sit there and tell yourself, oh, I'm a millionaire, it's all going to be okay, all these bills are just going to go away, because they're not, and you're going to end up in debt before you know it. But what you don't have to do is focus on how bad of a situation you're in, because that's going to make it a lot worse. And so instead of looking at how many bills you have or the lack of money that you have, try to find a positive aspect of that situation. And you might be thinking, well, that's kind of hard to do. And it is. But if you think about it, like, there are all kinds of millionaires and billionaires that went bankrupt before they finally came into their fortune. They were once at the exact same spot in life that you are in. And so that's a really good way to start looking at situations and to turn your thinking into positive thinking, is to just change your perception just a little bit. Because after all, if you're in that situation anyway, wouldn't you rather find a little bit of relief from that situation, or find a little something that can make you happier and make you a little bit less miserable? Yeah, because that's what we're all reaching for anyway. We all just want to be happy in life. And all these things, the money and the material things that we're all reaching for, and the good job and the nice car, it's all so that we can be happier. And so if we can start now, why wouldn't we? If we can already be happy, why not? And honestly, I feel like that's a big part of success. I feel like a lot of people think that, successful people are happy because they are successful. But is that the truth, or is it the other way around? Are they successful because they were positive and optimistic, and that's what led them to their success? And that's what I truly believe, that it takes a certain amount of positivity and optimism to truly get to where you want to be in life anyway. And so a good way to start being able to think positive and to be more optimistic is to find things that you're grateful for. And I talk about this in a lot of my videos, but I feel like it's really important, and a lot of people acknowledge the power of gratitude. And I feel like that's why, some, really successful people who have everything they could possibly want are still so miserable, because they never take the time to truly feel grateful for what they have. They get caught in something called the hedonic treadmill, which is where we just keep wanting more and more and more. Our brain just wants the next step, and that's natural, and that's a part of life. But you have to make sure that on your way to getting more and more and more, that you take the time to be grateful for what you already have. And like I said, our minds are just so focused and so programmed on focusing on the negative that we miss so much stuff. If you're driving to work or you're getting ready to go to work and you can't find your keys, and you're running around and you're looking for your keys, and you spill your coffee, and so you have to go change, and then you're late for work, and you're on your way to work, and you get caught in traffic, and it just ruins your whole day, and you're angry and you're upset. Well, why does this always happen to me, and why do these bad things happen? If this didn't happen, I wouldn't have such a bad day. And trust me, I know, I've been there. Everybody does that. But if you can catch yourself, try to let all that go, because it happened and there's nothing that you can do about it. And so there's no point in worrying about it, stressing over it, and making yourself even more miserable. So try to see if you can find, positive things. Yeah, well, I spilled my coffee all over me and I had to change, but I had coffee. I was able to go into my kitchen this morning and make me a cup of coffee, or able to stop at a store and get a cup of coffee. Some people don't even have clean water, and we're making us a cup of coffee every single morning. Yeah, you lost your keys and looking for them made you late, but you have keys, you have a car. And so just try to think of those positive things, and it may not seem to make much of a difference right away. Like, you're angry and and you say a few positive things that you're grateful for, well, it may not change your mood right away, but if you can keep doing that and keep practicing, it's finally going to change your momentum and change your thought process, and those little things aren't going to matter so much anymore. People say it all the time that life's too short, and it is. And so we really have to think about the things that we're upset about. Is it really worth it? So I hope that really resonates with you and you really understand what I'm talking about. And that should be a pretty easy part of this. But what happens when you're dealing with a really negative situation and a really stressful situation, such as a lawsuit, or you're about to lose your job or lose your house? How can you possibly be positive in a situation like that? Well, first off, you have to truly decide to. You have to truly decide that you don't want to let these circumstances define your happiness, that you are stronger than this and that you will get through it. We always seem to think that negative situations are going to be absolutely horrible. If you can think back to a time in your life where you dealt with a negative situation, the stress that you put yourself through and the negative thoughts and emotions that you felt leading up to that situation was probably a lot worse than the situation itself. And it works both ways. Like, we always think positive things and material things are going to make us so happy, but most of the time we're not quite as happy as we thought we would be, and it doesn't usually last for as long as we think it will. And it's the same with negative things. We think it's going to be horrible and it's going to ruin our life forever and we're never going to get past it, but most of the time that's not the case. It's usually not as bad as we think it's going to be, and it usually doesn't last for as long as we thought it would either. Try to think of some of the challenges that you've already overcame, and think of what you gained from those challenges. You might have to look pretty hard for some situations, but I guarantee you, if you sit down and truly think about one positive thing that you got out of a negative situation, you will find one. If it was just that you're stronger now because you pushed through that and overcame it, that's something. Another thing that you can do when faced with a negative or difficult situation or circumstance, or anything that you struggle with that you're not happy doing, is you can step back and set an intention for that. And that might sound a little crazy, but we get so used to our routines and how we feel about things. Going into work, oh, this is going to be miserable, I'm going to be so bored, or it's going to be so exhausting. And we think about all these things that we know it's going to be like because that's how our past was. But you don't have to let that past experience continue to dictate your future experience. So before you go into work, or before you go into that bank and ask for that loan, or before you go grocery shopping with 5 kids, take a step back and set an intention. Okay, I know that this has gone rough in the past, but I have a different mindset now. And this is going to be a different experience this time. I am determined to make this experience a good one, somehow, some way. And if you just set that intention, you will be amazed. Your brain then starts to look for ways to bring you the positive aspects of that situation instead of continuing to look for the negative. Our brains, our minds are very powerful. And if you just let it know what you want to see, what you want it to look for, then it will change your life completely. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to mention this or not, because it scares a lot of people off, but science has proven that everything is energy. Even humans, we're not matter, we're a bunch of moving energy that appears to be solid when we look at it. Science has proven this. This is how cell phones work. This is how we're able to pick up the phone and talk to someone 5,000 miles across the universe. This is how you're able to warm up your food in the microwave. It's how you're able to watch television. It's vibration, it's moving energy that we perceive. The whole world is made up of vibration. And the law of attraction states that what is likened to itself attracts itself. So positive energy attracts positive energy, and negative energy attracts negative energy. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that you can say that, oh, well, I'm a millionaire and it's going to come to you. Because first off, you don't believe that. And that's not quite how the law of attraction works. But if you're just interested in being more positive and more happy and more optimistic, then I guarantee you this will work for you. Another thing that I've mentioned in some of my other videos that I feel like is very important and worth mentioning again is that you have to start your day off right and end it right. When you wake up in the morning, instead of waking up to a bunch of screaming kids or phone calls or emails, make it a point to wake up early. I wake up about an hour earlier than everyone else so that I can meditate. I make a list of things that I am grateful for. I make a list of my goals that I want to accomplish. And I listen to a few motivational videos. And if you don't have time for all that, at least to get yourself in a positive mindset before you start your day, you will be amazed at how that changes your life. Now, it's going to take some time. The first day that you do this, you're probably not even going to make it till breakfast. You're going to get up, meditate, do your affirmations, whatever you want to do, and you're going to be feeling great. And then you're going to receive a phone call, or something's going to happen that's going to throw you off, and you're going to be upset and in a negative mindset before breakfast. And that's okay, because it takes practice. Our energy and our vibrations, they gain momentum. And so if we've been practicing a negative momentum for so long, or a negative, if we've had a negative mindset for so long, it's going to take you a while to switch that. And so you have to stick with it. Do it for 30 days. And I promise you, you will be amazed. 30 days, what do you have to lose? If someone told you, guaranteed you that being positive would change your life and make you happier, and that's the only thing you had to do was just think positively, wouldn't you do it? Yeah, and even if you don't have all the proof right in front of you, what do you got to lose? A few extra minutes every morning to be grateful and to be positive, to set your day off on the right foot. And do the same thing before you go to bed. I find a great thing to do before bed, especially if you struggle with meditation, is ASMR videos. They're very relaxing. They can really take your mind off things and help you just to fall into sleep in a neutral mindset. If you can go to bed in a grateful or happy mindset, that's even better. If you can just lie in bed and think of all the good things that you have in your life, or the good things that happened that day, or everything you marked off your to-do list that makes you feel good about yourself, doesn't matter what it is. Just find something to put yourself in that mood before bed. And that is because, see, when we wake up in the mornings, our energy has stopped. Our vibrations are stopped because we're not consciously thinking while we're sleeping. But it doesn't feel that way sometimes, because if you go to bed angry and you have such a strong angry vibration going on, when you wake up, you just pick that right back up and you feel like, it never went away, even though it did. So try to get yourself into that happy and positive mindset before you go to bed and right when you wake up. And it's going to make a huge difference in your life, I promise. So I was going to get into a few more topics that people really struggle with when it comes to being positive, such as relationships and things like that. but I just realized how long this video actually was. And so I'm going to stop right here, and if you do want to hear about that, or if there's another topic or situation that you struggle with being positive on, let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to make a video about it for you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video helped you. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss it when I post a new video every single week. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.